Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 517 for the week of September 19th, 2021. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me.
And this is Kevin, and welcome to Substack Part 2.
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Brock's actually on his way. He's running a little late, so he'll jump in here when he's ready. But I figured we're starting to record, so might as well just get to it. Thank you for joining, Kevin.
Well, I just waiting to hear, and Charlie.
He'll be back someday, I'm sure.
There's a hole in my heart not hearing that for too long.
Me and Kevin, before recording, we were talking about some of the Tomorrow's companion books that we were missing. Now I'm on the hunt for the Legion companion from Tomorrow's, who you guys remember we had him on.
Yeah, that was 2019, I want to say.
I was going to say, yeah, it feels like a while ago now.
Yeah.
Those books are super good. So, hey, call out to your local comic store if you've got a copy of the Legion Companion sitting in like a $5 box at your local comic shop.
Or cover, right? Cover.
Oh yeah, I'll take it for cover price too. Yeah. It's one of those like. There's one on Amazon for $100. Yeah. There's two on eBay for like $80, and I think one's for like $250 or something. And I'm like, no.
Part of the issue is the permissions that they get to use the art.
Because these companion books are all like early 2000s, so that's sort of where they go up to. But I should use my wonderful comichub.com search through all my lovely comic shops.
Why don't you do it right now? It'll be
do it on air. See if anyone's got it. Do a shout out. No record.
The number one Legion of Superheroes fan on the Comics Conspiracy podcast does not have this book.
So I was reading some comics this morning, and I actually looked over my shelf, and I was like, I have like the All Star Squadron ones. I have the Titans one. I have like the Legion Outpost, and I'm like, isn't there a Legion superhero one for this? Do I not have this? I looked online and I'm like, it's probably always been expensive. And I was just like, I forgot about it for a decade. It's just like, I'll get this one day.
So for listeners who don't know, these books, they're not really published anymore. Tomorrow's is kind of shifted to. So they had a series of books, I want to say maybe mid-90s to the early 2000s or late 90s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Called The Blank Companion. And it's basically a history of whatever the topic is. So Teen Titans, Legion of Superheroes, All-Star Squadron has All-Star Comics has multiple volumes. There's a Krypton, Batcave, Flash, Hawkman, and it's basically just takes it up. It's got articles and then like a checklist of all the appearances of the issues, like little thumbnails of the covers.
Hey, Brock's here. Not too late. What's happening? Yeah, no, they're great books. But I just I somehow never got the Legion one. Brock, we're recording whenever you're ready. Jump on in. We didn't really start too much. Figure it out. We'll get a start. Didn't know how long you're going to be. That's okay.
Yeah, no, I was just a few minutes because I had to. The kids don't understand go to bed.
Go to bread. But yeah, no, that Krypton and that Batcave one I may pick up. We'll see. Because I don't have those either. The Hawkman one, if I see it cheap, for sure. But yes, Legion of Superheroes, Legion Companion, Tomorrow's publishing. If you see a copy cheap, give me a heads up. We have some topics to talk about this week. We got a bunch of questions. Kind of light on topics, so we'll get some questions from the audience. It's always fun. This should come as no real surprise to anyone, but another company has moved over to Penguin Random House for comic book distribution. That, of course, is IDW, one of the handful of companies that Penguin Random House already distributed graphic novels for. So that now makes IDW and Marvel are having their comic books and graphic novels distributed to the direct market via Penguin Random House. They are still available through Diamond, I'm assuming at a lesser discount. This doesn't start till June 1st, 2021, so a long way away.
22? You mean June 1st, 2022?
2022, but a long way away. But it's, it's in the works. Right now, Penguin also distributes DC Comics graphic novels, Dark Horse. I'm trying to think of anyone that's exclusive to another company for their single issues. IDW already has Marvel. I feel like Kodansha and some manga publishers, but they don't do single issues. I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting. So there's a not insignificant chance that Dark Horse drops Diamond as their exclusive distributor in the near future, since they're already with Penguin Random House. And I don't know. I'm assuming DC is going to stick with Lunar. It feels weird if they drop them, but maybe not. I could see Penguin trying to grab everything. And I think we talked about it a little bit here. Penguin Random House has started the purchasing of Simon and Schuster. What does that go through? What does that deal go through? I think that's next year too. Because that was back in May. They cleared the ability to purchase Simon and Schuster, which would make them by far and away the biggest book distributor in America. But I don't know. I don't think there's a date. I mean, maybe one of the biggest in the world. But I don't know if there's a date for when that would go through. But they have, obviously they do Marvel graphic novels as well. So yeah, man. Hits keep coming for Diamond. I'm
telling you, their comeback is going to be bigger than their setback, right?
Yeah. I just don't know what the next couple of years is going to look like. You figure Image and Boom are kind of the Image, Boom, Dynamite. Image and Boom really are the two big holdouts. Dark Horse is big, but their book distributors they already do book distribution to Penguin, so that's not a huge deal. I'm sure a lot of stores like myself are already getting our stuff from Penguin instead of Diamond. So Boom and Image are really the two big ones. And I don't. Penguin's coming. They're coming calling.
Those Diamond retailer lunches are not going to be what they used to be.
Yeah.
They'll be Penguin retailer lunches.
I mean, in theory, right? IDW and Marvel and all these companies could still be there.
Yeah.
They're still technically, it would be everyone but DC, really. But yeah, I can't imagine DC's going to have, or Diamond's going to have too much going on in the next, the next couple of years. It's going to be rough. We'll see. We'll see what the, it's going to be 50% off for Penguin. We'll see if they kind of match the deal that Marvel had. So stores, their discount did drop, moving for Marvel Comics, switching from Diamond Comics to Penguin and Random House, but free shipping, so kind of offsets a big portion of that cost. We'll see what happens. We did our first order last week for Marvel Comics through Penguin and Random House, first time where we did not order through Diamond Comics for a single Marvel product. Pretty big deal.
Now we just need to see if Penguin Random House can ship single issues.
That's the big question.
I mean,
their trades,
they've been so reliable with those trades.
Their trade shipments suck.
Yeah, they
do. Yeah,
it's one step up from Amazon only because they throw a piece of packing material in the box. Now you don't know what it's going to do, but at least they throw a piece of packing material in the box.
So the comic books are being shipped from a different warehouse, completely separate. The graphic novels are still being shipped from the main warehouse. The notes from Penguin Random House have been that they are going to... They understand the collectible nature of comics and are working with UPS on heavier boxes and crush rates. So, it's a rate at which boxes will sort of give better ways to protect the graphic novels during shipment. We'll see. I have very little, if any, shortages from Penguin. It's just regular damages. It's way more than Diamond. We'll see what happens. The UPS drops a box on its side. Doesn't matter what's in it. It's going to go. But yeah, it's.
Well, I always found it funny that Diamond would ship us books immaculately, and Penguin Random House ships us graphic novels beat up.
Yeah,
It's like the book distributor ships the graphic novels like garbage, but
well, they don't. But I mean, right? This is all for, as long as books have been a thing, bookstores they just send them. Like, they don't care about condition, right? There are plenty of people that don't care about condition. There are plenty of people that do for their books, but there's obviously people that don't. Comic books is a little bit different. People want them in nice shape. We'll see if Penguin can deliver. But yeah, IDW moving over to Penguin Random House. Again, it should be no change in June.
Are you going to cut in another one bites the dust in the background there?
Nah. I mean, it's more like the stop, they're already dead gif from The Simpsons. Yeah, there's just not much more. Diamond, their toy distribution is horrible. We moved completely away from them for most toys. They just don't have stock on a lot of stuff. They're not able to get, and we still get big Diamond shipments. Don't get me wrong, but like, it's half. It's going to be less than half. It's going to be like a third of what it used to be. So
we're going to get like 2 boxes from Diamond.
No, we should still get 3 or 4, just not 8 or 10 or 15 or 20. Like, we'd probably get, if we were getting everything from Diamond now, yeah, we'd probably get 15 plus boxes a week. Yeah. Well, that doesn't even include reorder, maybe 20. Like, they'd be fucking humongous shipments with what we're getting now. It's crazy. I don't know if this has anything to do with the move of IDW away from Diamond Comics and to Penguin Random House. Or it could just be odd timing. IDW, and this feels like a huge deal. It was a huge deal when it was announced and nobody talked about it. And it's a huge deal now that it's going away and nobody's talking about it. IDW has lost the license to the Marvel All Ages comic books. The Marvel Action line is ending, and a number of books past the issues. There are issues that were scheduled to ship past December 2021. They will not be coming out. Everything is over, except for the artist edition. Those are still going to be happening. IDW has licenses with lots of different publishers for the artist edition oversized hardcovers.
But still going to have Star Wars, right?
I don't know. Doesn't say. The Marvel Action line is ending.
Yeah, it didn't, because they probably
Star Wars
Star
Adventures,
Wars, because it still does fine.
Star Wars Adventures are big sellers.
Yeah, like
we sell a lot of those.
The Marvel Action, like, I've been trying to get them for my son, and they're sporadic, and they come out weirdly. There's no consistency to it. It's like, you buy a number 1, and you're like, okay, and then like 3 issues later, you're buying another number 1, and you're like, was that a series, or was that like? So, for those that don't know, a number of years ago, how was it, 2016 or something like that? It's been a couple of years. IDW had licensed a number of Marvel characters to do kid-friendly and all-ages comics. Marvel, traditionally, in the last 20 years, has sucked at doing all-ages comics. They just can't get it going. They did like that Marvel Age line for a while, and just nobody cared. Like, they've tried numerous times to get this going, and just nothing happened. So IDW does a lot of kids' books, right? Got the license to do these Marvel Action line. It's funny too, because as far as I'm aware, the Disney license has gone too. So this may be maybe related, that these single issues, because again, they were publishing Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge, and Mickey Mouse. IDW published a ton of them for years. It was mostly reprints of European stuff that had never been printed in English before. So it was neat stuff. But all of them are gone. Now, obviously, there's a big part of the audience that's going to say, well, yeah, they don't need these single issue comics for kids. Kids like the $9.99 graphic novel, Dogman, Raina Telgemeier style book. And while that is true, we sell a lot of these comics. A lot of parents
even in the Bay Area, aren't ready to spend $10 or $15 on a comic for a kid. But a $3.99 comic that's, just something they can sit there and read and get and beat up, we sell a ton of them. We sell a ton of the Marvel facsimile editions, the DC and Marvel dollar comics. They need to keep making these books. They sell very well. Now, maybe at the end of the day, for the company, they don't.
It's easier for parents to justify going, okay, you want to try that out and that out and that out and grab, kids' single issues, and their kid tries something. And then if they like it, they come back in and buy the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
If they like it. But if they don't have that, then they're more hesitant to be like, well, I don't know, maybe we will get it next time, or we can only get one.
To me, these lines of books are bigger than just a monthly sales chart. You have to look at these as starters for people that many of who will come back later to get comics. It is inexcusable that Marvel and DC are not publishing 1 to 2 comics a month that are single issue, all ages, kid-related, kid-friendly, single-issue comic books that we can, stock randomly and never have to worry about, you can have ongoing storylines if you want, that's fine, but have kind of done-on-one stories like these were. Just, again, you have to ignore sales. You have to look at this as marketing for the future. The individual sales of the single-issue does not matter. As a store owner, I'm going to put my space for these comics to get people to buy these to come back, because there's a never-ending line of 6 and 8-year-old kids that want to buy superhero comic books that, who their parents just aren't going to buy them the James Tynion comic off the wall or the Jonathan Hickman X-Men comic on the wall, right? They're just not going to. I've said this before with Marvel and DC. They need a Marvel Comics Presents, DC Comics Presents anthology every month. Different creative teams, different characters. Again, it's not about the sales of the specific issue. This is a push for the future. They need the same thing with a kid's book. You're
talking the longevity sales, because you've brought this up before with toys. Like DC and Marvel having a Batman that's available to order, and a Superman, and just Marvel having a Spider-Man,
standard Batman and a standard Superman and a standard Batman.
Just have them available.
Standard Spider-Man.
Have them available to order, because that's the thing is you have these things, they're constant. People are going to come in and get them. Stocking a set that has 5 characters that nobody's going to give a rat's ass about on the wall.
Look, give me Stillman action figures all day long. I love that shit. I love all the oddball characters, but I need a Superman figure I can sell all the time. I need a Spider-Man figure I could sell all the time. I need a Wolverine figure I could sell all the time. Just make a classic, make one. Give me Marvel should have a Spider-Man comic and an anthology kids comic. A Spider-Man kids comic and an anthology kids comic. DC should have a Batman kids comic and an anthology kids comic. Single issue, single format, one at a time. Get big names, small names, doesn't matter who it is. These things are perennial. These things sell forever. They're never going to be the best-selling comic, but it's something people can always have in their spinner racks, have in the kids section. They're always out. You could just reprint them constantly. If the first issue sells out, reprint it again. No variants, no nothing crazy like that. Don't make it collectible. Just keep this as a perennial book. Do it for your 2 biggest characters, Spider-Man and Superman, or Spider-Man and Batman. Have an anthology where people can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Ignore sales. It's crazy to me that they don't do this. It's just crazy.
Are you thinking something like the old Batman Adventures comic?
Sure.
That was kind of loosely based on the cartoon.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if it was based on a property, but the problem with that is if there was a Batman Adventures comic, I mean, it's 20 years old now. That's a thing that a lot of kids don't know.
Yeah,
But
but
I think
I mean like a new version of that.
yeah, I think you just have a. I would think you're looking more like Justice League Unlimited and like Marvel and like Avengers Assemble, right? Where they're
Yeah.
like we can just pick and choose from anything. We can retell a classic story. We can have new stories. We can have new versions of the characters. We can have older versions. Let people go crazy. Both a standard anthology that's for just open to any creator you want. Any creator can pitch stuff for adults, for teenagers and up. You have a kid version. Again, a single issue kid Spider-Man book, a single issue kid Batman book. And again, I mean, I understand it's a business. Look, don't get me wrong, but I stock plenty of stuff that isn't a huge profit, but it brings people in. It's something that, hey, if I sell it once or twice, that's cool, and I'll keep restocking that thing because I think it's important to have. There's no reason Marvel and DC can't do the same thing.
Well, I mean, even for a while, we would get kids' comics in, and you would just put them back. They were in okay condition. You just put them back out on the rack.
All the time.
Sell. Like,
yeah. If like the Simpsons comic Archie, whenever we get them in collections, I just put them back out. Nobody cares. People just grab them off the shelf. They don't care.
Yeah,
it's crazy that there's not a Simpsons comic. It's crazy that that's over. I get asked every day for it. I'm very happy that Archie's starting to do the standard Archie single issues again. They're specials. They're not like an ongoing book. That's totally fine. What Archie's doing is perfect. It's exactly what they should be doing. They do a special a month. They kind of flip-flop between Archie and the gang and Betty and Veronica. They do a bunch of like Halloween and Christmas specials. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Single issues, $2.99. Perfect. Archie's nailing it right now. It's embarrassing that Marvel and DC can't do the same thing. But with the talent they have, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
well, and having just single issue stories and just like anthology stories that are just one small contained thing, it's so much easier to be like, yeah, you can grab this and just go. They can read it and have fun with it. Like,
yeah, it's nothing that needs to be an ongoing regular story arc, But again, if someone's like, hey, I want to do Dark Phoenix Saga in like a kind of an all ages friendly 22-page format, go crazy, right? Like that could be fun. I don't know. But like, yeah, just like they could be all number ones if you want, so kids aren't feeling like they need to, get every issue or something like that. Yeah, just do whatever. Yeah, it's super. To me, it's crazy. It's crazy they don't have this. And yeah, with this, it's even less now because again, I just restocked a bunch of those Marvel Action Comics. We ordered all the Black Panthers, I ordered all the Captain Marvels, all the Spider-Man I could. We sold like most of them. So, yeah, I just don't understand. I don't understand why Marvel's not. Maybe Marvel is going to do this. I have no idea. I don't know what their plans are. It's just crazy to me that both companies haven't done this by this point. We'll see what happens.
It's something that they can, and this is not me trying to take away from the comic book retail market, but those things could easily go to Scholastic as well. So
Scholastic's, they're on. I mean, I just don't think Scholastic has any interest in publishing single issue comics. They might, maybe.
They could easily collect 3 of these in one at the Scholastic level, and just there's their Scholastic one.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's what the graphic novel is, sure, and obviously we're looking at webtoons and other formats, so it's not like there isn't content coming out for this audience, but to me, yeah, as a physical store
here, read the Batman webtoon comic.
I mean, I read it. I hated it. It's just not. I hated the format. It's not for me. That's fine. I don't. I mean, I've looked at webtoons before. I don't like the scrolling. I just don't. I mean, I'll stay out of it. It's just not for me. So that's fine. That's fine.
It's for a specific market, for a specific like interface. Like that's. I mean, they're trying to get into and get them. Get their eyes on it, and that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's what I mean. It's not for me. It's great. No, I love that it has like 500,000 subscribers. That's awesome. That's a shitload of people that probably have never read a Batman comic that are now looking at a Batman comic, regardless of format. Yeah. Whatever I think of it for myself, it's meaningless. It's not for me. Just like those kids' comics wouldn't be for me. Doesn't mean I don't think they should be there. it's funny that Marvel is trying the same thing. So they relaunched the Marvel Unlimited app, and it sucks. By the way, oh, it sucks. Oh, they fucked their app so bad. It's so bad. But they reformatted the Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane, Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane, and they have like another comic where they're now doing in that same scrolling format. So for those that haven't seen these, the comics are not drawn for a traditional reading experience where you go multiple panels on a page, then next page. And so they don't have like a panel by panel view the way like the digital comic apps do. What Webtoons does, it is a single panel scrolling format. So you're constantly scrolling the page up and reading or down, and you're reading the panels one panel at a time. I think
it's like reading the comics from the paper, just up and down.
Yeah, it's much more like a comic strip. I think the limiting factor is, you can do some stuff like, oh, there's a waterfall, and you're kind of like following the waterfall as you scroll down, or someone like dropping someone like something from like a panel into another panel. So there's like, you can play around with that, but you can't do splash pages. You can't do like stuff like Watchmen, you can't do that in this format. There's a lot of books that just, J.H. Williams.
Boom, boom,
what's
boom,
that?
Boom, boom. They could do 9 panels. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, but it wouldn't
be 9 panels. It would just be
panel. So much of the 9 panel things, like whether it's Watchmen or Mr. Miracle or some Tom King's work, the 9 panel grid, you're supposed to read as a page and then the panel. You can't do that this way. Like if you read Watchmen in panel view, what a horrible reading experience that would be, because you're supposed to see the entire page and then go panel, panel, panel. There's a number of Tom King books that have a similar thing where you need the entire page first, and then as you read, you're seeing the flow through the panels.
I've got the ultimate anti-webtoon comic for you. If somebody can nominate one better than this, I mean, worse than this to translate to that format.
What's that?
Is the Pax Americana issue of Multiversity.
Yeah, sure. Or Promethea or something like that. Oh, yeah. Like the final issue of Promethea, right?
Okay.
Well, in Echolands would work
if you turn it sideways.
If you turn your phone sideways, but then it'd be so.
But it splashes across the 2 pages,
and it'd be so small. It would be so small. So I mean, Webtoons the Webtoon comics are way more formatted for things like the comic strip.
Good on them for going to the audience.
Yeah, sure. No. Like this is not like, again, there was a difference of, this is not for me and I hate it, and this is not for me and I'm totally fine with it. Like I'm 100% down with this. Again, way more people reading a Batman comic is awesome in my eyes.
I've said this before. It's old man shouting at cloud at this point, but I'll say it one more time. I think the great tragedy of the comics industry is how they gave up on bringing in new blood. And it's an industry catering. I'm talking about the monthlies, not Scholastic, nothing like that. It's an industry catering to adult men primarily, with a slice out of the pie for other audiences instead of the other way around.
Sure. But that goes back to the conversation about the kids comic stuff, right? That should be something there for that audience, right? Mm-hmm. I think the manga crowd and the kind of alt comic crowd, I think those people are just unlikely to read a monthly comic. That is not their format.
Right.
I don't know that they ever would have really got them. You had manga come out in single issue formats in the 80s and early 90s, and then Tokyo Pop hit, and it completely changed the game for everything, because they didn't think people in America would buy comics like they do in the bigger collections of Japan. So it just makes way more sense to do it the that way there. You know, they're not going to do those big anthologies, the comic magazines, but they're going to do the collections. Yeah, I just don't think there's any chance of that audience. But a kid just has to buy one Batman comic when he's 8-year-old, and then that could turn into a whole life of loving comic book stuff as an adult. That's what I'm trying to get to. Is
yes,
you don't need a lot of kids comics. You just need some. You need some of those single issues, something that's cheap that they can just grab. So.
Yep. Well, I mean, for me, it was just grabbing an Archie Digest off of the rack at this grocery store for a minute. That was what I was reading comic wise when I was younger.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, it's there, it's easy. You go, I want to read, and the parents would be like, fine, here, take it, shut up, right? But it was still something.
Oh yeah, and there were also the paperback books, like the size of a paperback book that reprint. There were the digests, and then there were like the paperbacks that reprinted. Now those in my time were reprinting like Silver Age stories, which may not be appealing to a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, the equivalent now would be, I guess, reprinting like something from the 80s published today.
80s, 90s, yeah.
So I don't know.
You'd be surprised. I actually do get a lot of kids that like the Epic collections.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. It would be nice what you were saying, besides the true believers in those, to have a, you know, they used to do those 100-page super spectaculars that would have a main news story and then like 3 backup reprint stories. I used to love those. Now those were like, I don't know what, 60 cents or something. I can't remember the cover price now.
Well, so DC tried this with those Walmart books. The problem was, and the Giants, the problem was they were reprinting new stuff, like really recent stuff. If those had like Golden Age, Silver Age, and 80s reprints, I think people would have been way more interested in them, not only from our point of view, but as like something I could say to a kid, hey, this has a new Batman story, plus it reprints his first appearance, it reprints Tim Drake's first appearance, and it reprints a classic Catwoman story, like from, you know, like the 60s. It's a random collection of cool stuff.
Yep.
As opposed to like 2 New 52 books. Like nothing against those books. They're just...
No, but it's 2 New 52 books priced at $9.99 and hard to find.
Yeah, they were $4.99. They were the Walmart books.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, $4.99 and difficult to find and being snatched up by adult collectors.
Yeah. I mean, so we got those, right? So they had the Giants, but we did sell quite a few of those. Those sold pretty well for us.
They just stopped them.
But then they just stopped the line. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Here's a comic that would not work in what's it called in Webtoons. Maybe it would, unless if it was like formatted differently and they redesigned it. Maybe that's the idea here. I don't know. But Nightwing 87. This is coming up. This is Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's upcoming Nightwing comic. It is a 22-page wide splash page. So it is, at least we got the first 5 pages. Tom Taylor posted the first 5 pages. It is... are
you just going to fold it out?
No, so you go from page to page, but if you were to like get 2 copies and pull out the pages and line them up, it would make one giant splash page. So it's basically, at least the pages we have, it's Dick Grayson talking on the phone, and then he's like going like through a city. He's clearly talking while he's doing this, right? So it's him running from like through a building and kind of tumbling down. So clearly the comic is going to be him having a conversation with someone on the phone, or you know, through like the headset or whatever, as he's going through Bloodhaven, right? So, I don't know what they're going to do by the end. They only showed the first 5 pages.
It's a side-scrolling comic.
But it's a cool idea. Like, this is a cool idea. I like this type of stuff. And again, it's something you really can only do in print. Yeah, sure, you can do it in digital, but it's not going to kind of look the same. Like, this is a neat idea, and especially if they do like a special edition that's a fold out poster, or they do I'm sure they can do something down the road to have it.
The second print will be the fold out poster.
That'd be great. That'd be super super neat. It's a cool idea. I like this type of stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if
But
that.
we're all enjoying Nightwing, right?
Oh, Nightwing's been fantastic. Yeah. Tom Taylor he just can't miss, man. That dude's so good. Finally, before we get some questions, we have. I think if you were to give me a list of 100 comic books and asked what is the next comic series that Netflix is going to adapt into a live action comic,
you would not have guessed this.
If you gave me a list of 100 independent comics from the 1980s till now, I don't think I would have put Matt Wagner's Grendel in the top 50. Out of nowhere.
Would it have beaten Milk Carton Man?
Milkman? Hey,
Milk Carton Man, not Milkman.
Milk Carton? There's no Milk Carton Man. What are you talking about?
On this note, I perhaps am the most excited about this news of the people on this show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was like when I was really discovering comics, and I mean like beyond the big two, like really discovering comics in the 80s. It would have been Love and Rockets, American Flag, Mage, and Grendel.
I'd put those three ahead of Grendel of shows.
Well,
that
Love and Rockets would be impossible to adapt because they're so.
I mean, just an anthology, just like I mean, there's a billion show.
You'd have to do an anthology with a massive cast of actors who are drifting in and out.
Yeah.
Grendel at least has a main protagonist and a villain and a kind of a central driving premise. It's such a weird choice. And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying weird like as in I disapprove. I hope they can stay true. That's a dark comic for those who haven't read it.
Yeah.
Is anything still in print with Grendel?
No.
There was an omnibus a few years ago.
So Dark Horse has done a bunch of those like 3/4 size.
Yeah, their omnibus was 3/4.
And I hate those. I mean, that's when I talked to Dark Horse about Sin City. That was one of those things where I was like, guys, you've got to
put it in that size.
Make these into real comic sizes. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple random trades are in print, like just totally random. But not any of the Matt Wagner stuff, not the original stuff, not that as far as I can tell. They've got to be coming out with a new collection. They just have to, right? They'll reprint all the Wagner stuff in like a big
it's
book.
not Marvel, so we know we'll get it at least somewhat before the show drops.
Yeah, I've read very minimal amount of Grendel.
My only experience with Grendel is the old mannequin in the old shop.
Well, that
scared the shit out of you.
That is
when we did like shifting of the store, and it was in the other the unit next to us, and you walked in, you screamed. Ah!
Well, that was a yeah. We'll talk about that in a second.
There's also Wagner did the 2-part Batman and Grendel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I've read that. But
I don't know where that's in print. Maybe Legends of the Dark Knight.
There was a DC Dark Horse collection that reprinted like Batman, Predator, Superman, Alien.
You can get those
Batman Grendel
super easy. We've sold those as sets. Like
and those are definitely worth reading. Even if you know nothing about Grendel, that's a total new reader friendly.
They're not totally different, but yeah, my knowledge of Grendel is pretty minimal. I mean, he's like an assassin, right? Isn't that his whole deal? Yeah. But there's been a bunch of different characters, so a bunch of different people have been Grendel. There's multiple different versions of him, so I don't know if they're gonna.
He's a woman, or Grendel is not he. Grendel is a woman at one point.
Yeah,
it's basically a rich playboy so just. Picture Bruce Wayne if Bruce Wayne was an assassin instead of a superhero. Right. And that's what Grendel is.
Right. But multiple people have picked up the mantle. Yeah.
And it has more supernatural elements than Batman.
Yeah, I'm down. Like, whatever, that's cool. I'll totally check it out. Grendel's a neat idea. But yeah, at the store. So the original owner of this of Comics Conspiracy, the original partner, Doug, he was a huge Matt Wagner fan, and we had a mage glow in the dark baseball bat that he had made. He like spray painted with like some neon paint, like this baseball bat. So Mage is another Matt Wagner comic from the 80s. And he had this mannequin that he had put up in a Grendel costume. The problem is, not a lot of people know who Grendel is. I got 9 times out of 10 people are like, "Is that Venom?" You know, like
yeah.
It's
and it was one of those. The mannequin was posed in one of those like
there wasn't a lot of room up there.
Laying down, knee up, foot underneath the leg, right? Kind of that like I'm chilling and trying to impress the lady pose or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was just like hilarious to like look up and see like, is that Venom? And you're like, Venom be sit like that. Grendel, the Playboy assassin.
Yeah. But yeah, when we moved and we took everything down, we were moving stuff around. I think it was when we were doing the floors.
It was when we were doing the floors. Yeah,
we put us all in storage in the empty unit next to us, and I went in, and of course, it's a mannequin, so it's like it's a person, and I'm like, I walk in pitch darkness, and there's this mannequin sitting there, and I'm like, ah!
He screamed,
friggin' shit out of me.
The best was it happened twice.
So before we get to questions, I moved away from my questions. Let me.
I got muted there, probably.
Let me get back to them. No spoilers, but I do want to really briefly talk about a show. It's on the second season of Stargirl is I think halfway done, maybe a little over halfway done. The new season, and again, like a lot of the TV shows, we're not talking about it every episode. But I need to talk briefly about this last episode. So again, I'll keep it spoiler free, and mostly spoiler free. If you watched the first season and you liked it but haven't started the second season yet, if you never watched any of it, I don't know that I'd say watch this episode alone. It probably wouldn't really be worth it. But if you are watching Stargirl and you have not seen this last episode, holy shit.
Are you talking about a specific villain here?
Well, yeah. So Eclipso has been, teased in the whole season. I forget the girl's name. The main villain girl. The main, like, not the Injustice Society, the actual like teenage girl. I forget her name. She's just like that. She's a Stargirl villain in the comics from the Jeff Johns run. I'm just blanking on what the character's name is. She's had the Black Diamond, and they've been talking about Eclipso this whole time, so it's not like we didn't know Eclipso was coming. But in a lot of these shows, the MCU show, MCU, like Vision and Scarlet Witch and Falcon Winter Soldier and stuff too. When they do a fight scene, I kind of know what I'm expecting. Like we're going to get a fight scene that's pretty, they tend to not be like crazy long. So this most recent episode, not only has a pretty extended fight scene between the new JSA, so the kids, and the new Injustice Society, their kids, right? So it's, they've been setting up, the original Injustice Society were all kind of taken care of in the first season. So they've been, the kids are now kind of getting involved, and, they're all teenagers, or they're all from the same high school. So they're all sort of getting involved. Yeah, it's a little cliche, but it's fun. So not only is there a pretty extended fight scene with them, and again, this I'm not talking this is like gonna win the best fight scene at the MTV Movie Awards or anything like that, but it's pretty damn good for what these shows have done. I think Stargirl and Superman and Lois really are pushing the limits on what CW and DC has been able to do on broadcast television. They've had some really good fight scenes. So there's a really extended fight scene between the JSA and the Justice Society. Again, the kid versions. But then we get Eclipso. I'm not lying. that scene with Eclipso is as good as the boardroom scene in Shazam or the deep scene in Aquaman. Like, if you're looking for some straight up horror in your superhero stuff, holy crap. Like, I was very, like, really surprised with how good the Eclipso reveal scene is. It's pretty shocking. More to come, right? I mean, it kind of cliffhangs the episode, and we'll get more later. But boy, it was pretty intense. I was not prepared for it to be. I just figured, okay, we'll get Eclipso. He'll do his thing and kind of cackle and fly off. No, he kind of fucks people up, and it's pretty dark. Yeah, it's really good, like really good. If you've been kind of holding off in the last couple episodes, catch up to episode 6. Ooh, it's a good one. And I'll definitely touch back on Stargirl at the season end. First season was a lot of fun, and I do love the JSA cameos when they bring back people. I know Jay Garrick, John Wesley Shipp is going to be in the season, so really looking forward to that. And then we've had a couple of small roles in flashbacks of other JSA members, and clearly a few that we thought were dead, or at least one we thought was dead is potentially still alive. So the adult JSA is still around in the show. But get to episode 6, Eclipso Man. Oh, it's good. It's good. All right, we're gonna hit some questions here. I'll burn through a few of these really fast. Right. Actually. We got one from Juan here, and he goes, "So are we ever going to get that sweet tooth talk? Were we waiting on someone?"
So Toby hadn't watched it at all. I had watched the first, I think, 2. You hadn't started it yet, Ryan.
I finished it.
No, I know when it first came up.
Oh yeah. No, we finished it a while ago, and I thought we were waiting for someone who was like getting close. Did you finish it, Kevin? Or?
I'm not finished, but I can be finished.
You watched it, Brock, right?
I watched 2 episodes.
Yeah, okay. When Kevin's done, me and him and whoever else has watched it, we'll do the talk.
Is this an assignment?
If you want it to be, Sweet Tooth is fantastic.
No, like I enjoyed what I watched.
Really good.
It's just I think because I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit down and read Sweet Tooth. And I read all of Sweet Tooth, and I was like, damn, that's good. And then I started watching the show, and I'm like, yeah, I already read that.
Yeah, that's like, for me, the issue is I had started these different free trials. And so I turn all my attention to something I'm only going to have for 2 weeks and watch everything I want to watch. Whereas Sweet Tooth is just kind of, I don't want to say I take it for granted, but I know it's there whenever I get back to it.
Yeah.
But I'll make a point. I'll make a point to finish it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll do it too.
I don't have a ton of spoiler stuff to talk about. But I thought it was really good. But when you guys are done with it,
good on him for calling it out. We just kind of dropped it completely.
Well, because season 2 got picked up for get 2 and 3. Like, it got picked up for at least one more. So we'll totally talk Sweet Tooth. We'll get to that.
Yep.
From Stefano, he wants to know. He's got a hot take. He says, "Webcomics, is this the future of comics?
No,
or the end of comics? Oh, comics will never end. Either way, comics will never end.
It's comic book adjacent.
It's not. I mean, look, it's all comics. It's all part of the industry. It's all fun. Anyone that tells you superhero print comics are the only way comics should be, they're wrong. Anyone that tells you webtoons is the only way comics should be, they're wrong. Anyone that tells you mangas is the only way it should be, they're wrong.
If anybody's screaming comics and wailing their arms around and saying something's burning down or it's dying, they're most likely wrong.
Yeah, have your favorites, right? I clearly have my favorites. I'm a single issue superhero guy. I'm a big omnibus guy. I'm a Western comic. I like some manga, right? But it's like, and I've read some web comics, but like, I have my clear favorites. But no, if the biggest book distributor in the world would not become the primary distributor of Marvel Comics if single issue superhero comics were dying. DC Comics would not leave a very comfortable distribution position to move to a new distributor because they think they can expand the brand. Because if they thought comics were dying, right? DC would not have something with webtoons if superhero stuff were dying. Webtoons wouldn't have DC if webcomics were, dying or the only thing around. It's all part of the industry. They're all important.
I've been reading comics steadily for 15 years now, and they've been dying the entire time.
Oh, they've been dying since the 30s. All right. Once the war was over, comics were done. Nobody cared. All right. They keep reinventing themselves. They keep doing different things, but they keep doing a lot of the same stuff too, which is great. So it's the legacy of the history, but they're not afraid to do something different. As for Michael, he said, what are some of your, I feel like we talk about at least part of this regularly, but he said, what are some of your current favorite DC and Marvel series? What's current? Top of your list.
Besides me being like a quarter of a long box or 3/4 of a long box behind,
I'm starting to get a little bit of a stack too.
Swamp Thing is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
from what I've read of that, it's been really good.
I have
just DC, right?
Marvel or DC.
DC, okay.
Yeah, well, of course, Marvel and DC. I have one issue of Rorschach still read.
I'm trade waiting on that one.
Yeah, that's a smart thing.
Yeah.
It's it really is the book that I have no idea what I'm getting issue to issue. Yeah. It's pretty incredible. Look, it's Tom King. Everyone knows I love Tom King, but I didn't know what the hell to expect from a Rorschach comic. It is not this. It's so good. It's strange. It's it's real neat.
So wait till you get to the end. I read the last issue.
Yeah. So I got one left, and it's like, oh boy, man, this is
his Supergirl's been great.
Supergirl's been fantastic. Yeah.
I'll throw in also Event Leviathan. Wait, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
The current mini?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was the name of the prior series.
Leviathan.
I think you're talking about Checkmate.
Oh, Checkmate.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
That, I've really been enjoying that. Marvel, I stand by Immortal Hulk. I've recommended that enough times. So let me switch to, I really like the first issue of Kang, and I really like the first issue of the Defenders mini.
Yeah, the new Al Ewing one. Kang was kind of a sleeper hit. We had nobody order it. I thought, okay, it's a Kang miniseries. Nobody gives two shits, but the reviews are fantastic. So that's on my list to read. So since I'm, what I used to do for Marvel and for a lot of independent stuff that I didn't collect, and for DC stuff I didn't buy, I generally would just like take an issue from the store, hold on to it, read it, throw it back on the shelf, just kind of have a little small stack, and then a small stack, and then a slightly bigger stack, and then like half a short box, and then it was like a short box, and I'm like, okay, this is just not sustainable. Like I used to have time to read at the store. I'd read a couple issues a shift. It's just not the case anymore. So I especially with Marvel, I just basically just moved over to Marvel Unlimited. I have the occasional book that I buy, but I don't want to take store stock. I'm not buying the stuff. So I'm not current on anything Marvel, which is actually fine because I'm reading basically like trade paperbacks, which is how I do the independent stuff. I'm just reading stuff in runs. So I'm going through the Ta-Nehisi Coates Captain America right now. Good story, terrible art. Boy, God, they needed a different artist on this book. It's embarrassingly bad, but the story's all right.
That was a ninja actor.
That's different. It's not like that. That's a weird choice. I
wouldn't call it a weird choice. I would call it a horrible choice.
So I've got big stacks of Marvel stuff to still read. But yeah, no, there's I'm trying to think of anything else jumping out. Yeah, Infinite Frontier, I'm really excited to see what Josh Williamson is going to do with the multiverse. I mean, he's taken over. He's taken over DC. He's writing Batman. He's writing the big lead up to the next crisis, like Congrats, Josh. You're in the top. You're on top of the ladder in
We
DC
got to
now.
get him on again before
I love it.
before he doesn't have time.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. We will. Related.
Question is related.
Another question. Is from 7 to Gideon Falls. I mean, his favorite comics. So this he actually asked, and this is a rumor. Well, which I didn't bring up, but it's the question kind of brings it up. He says, "Will Bendis be writing Batman and/or Detective Comics in 2022? And if so, will it be any good? I love his Daredevil runs. I hope it'll be like that. I'm just not confident in the quality will be after reading his current stuff." Big rumor that Bendis has taken over Batman. I don't know that I believe that. I think Josh is in for a run. He had a really good run on Detective. I think Josh Williamson is going to do a big run on Batman. Now, that not to say he want to say that Bendis won't do Detective, because he's doing that. He's doing something Legion related. I know the Justice League Legion comics coming out, the annual. But yeah, Bendis isn't doing a ton of stuff right now. Once Checkmate's over, that's it. I think for any of the new content. Maruka Tamaki, I don't know if her Detective runs kind of permanent. I like it. It's been good. Her run's been good so far. I'm not against Bendis doing Detective. I want to see Williamson on Batman. He already did Detective. I want him to get a good run on Batman too. But if it's short, if he's just temporary and Bendis is coming in, that's cool too. But if you're not sure on Bendis's Batman, read the Batman Universe.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun.
I loved that book.
Yeah.
Now it's not dark Gotham Batman. You
got to put that caveat in.
This is Silver Age, Brave and the Bold Batman.
Yep.
Hey,
but it's great.
Jonah Hex. I'm like,
yeah.
And Darrington's art was so good in that.
So good. Yeah. So if he wants to, I mean, look, there's no end of Batman books. If Bendis is writing like that, like if Bendis is writing Brave and the Bold,
oh, perfect.
That is what I want. I want Bendis on Brave and the Bold, Batman, and just go.
Yep.
Again, talk about those anthologies before. You have every artist he's ever worked with. He can bring in all his co-writer buddies. They can do endless, just bring in random characters.
They even kind of set that up with coming out of death metal. They set up the universe to have even something like the anthology. So, I mean, it's kind of a waste if they don't.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, there's a number of Batman anthologies right now. I would, I think Batman. I think we talked about this. I think Batman, Urban Legends is fantastic. I think that's great. Legends has kind of been off to a rough start. I don't think you need multiple Batman anthologies at the same time. It just feels like too much. But Urban Legends,
we also have the black and white. We also have like
those. That's different. That's like a miniseries. That's kind of a special thing.
Like the black and gold, like they're special, but it's like it's a lot of stuff, just all at once.
Oh, it is a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
So, but hey. Batman is California.
Kevin, you were starting to say something?
No, I was just going to say, if we're still on his question about what are we recommending, I also really have been enjoying that Tom Taylor Batman. What is it called? Detective?
Yeah, the Detective.
Just not Detective Comics.
No, it's Batman the Detective. That's
that.
Yes.
The Kubert art in that is just off the charts. Fantastic. The story's fun, but the art is A+. Great.
Yeah, it is a super dark, but like we're close to Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Return Batman here, like old grizzled.
I'm like
fucking huge, fucking
he's drawn like really bulky,
like a fucking linebacker. Like, it is.
The book is like this close to being a Black Label book, and I'm like, you could have gone there. Gone there.
Yeah. No, it's
because like I mean,
it's super dark. It's good though. It's good.
Just like I haven't finished it, but like, man, that first issue, I'm like, this could have been Black Label, and it could have been like leaps and bounds in the other, like over that line. But yeah, I enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, there's so many Batman books. So every month in Comic Hub, I'm able to go through and like send like, hey, we recommend this thing, we recommend that thing. I basically just now add Batman, Detective, Justice League to like my like customers that buy those books, and I go, here's a list of every new Batman book out this week. There's like, or this month, there's like 9 of them. Just if you want to subscribe to any of the stuff, here's all the new Batman stuff. It's crazy.
Like 4 titles I already signed up for today.
There's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. Speaking of Batman, hold on, let me find the question.
When are we not speaking of Batman? Batman is always on the tip of our tongues.
What would you prefer? I think I have a feeling I know this is going to go too.
Oh, Jesus.
What would you prefer? A Ben Affleck Batman trilogy or a Robert Pattinson trilogy?
Well, without
this is from Tominator, and I'm sort of adjusting his question a little bit here. So.
It's tough since one of those things is unknown.
Yeah, that's the question. Would you go in on 3?
Would you take? So, Brock, the question is basically: you're looking inside one wrapped box, and you know what it is, and you think it's a gift that's of a certain quality. Would you just settle for that, or would you take the mystery wrapped package?
Are you in for 3 Batfleck movies, or are you going for the full Robert Pattinson trilogy?
Is it Zack Snyder Batfleck?
I mean, well, so there's a couple caveats here, right? I mean, in a world where Zack Snyder is still involved, that's kind of a different question, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think right now he's basically out. I don't think you'll see those kind of versions of the characters or story ever again. I'm sorry, I do not think we're restoring the Snyderverse anytime soon, guys. It's just not happening. Like he's done. He's done. DC's done. It's over. I like Ben Affleck as Batman, but we got multiple movies. I'm good.
I'll take Pattinson.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll try. Like at least that guarantees us at least 3 Batman movies.
Yeah. Right. The Robert Pattinson stuff looks more in line with, and I don't mean this as an insult, like season 1 Gotham. Or a little bit more like Dark Knight,
the Nolan stuff.
Yeah, the Nolan stuff, right?
Yeah, it stems a little more from like a realistic point of view versus in like it's year 1.
Yeah, it's early day. It's Gotham. It's gritty. It's not Snyder Justice League style.
From what we've seen, it looks like they're cramming year 1 Dark Knight like Returns, like kind of that just aggressive Batman. It feels like that's kind of what their jumping off point is.
Yeah.
With I think a little bit more of what is it? Maybe something like The Long Halloween as kind of the story running, like the murder running through.
The idea, yeah. So what was it? Batman Ego, Long Halloween, and Year 2. Are those kind of like the reported influences for?
Maybe I haven't read Ego
for this
Ego.
one.
I haven't read that one.
Kevin, I'm assuming you're all in on Pattinson.
I have no knowledge. I saw again 1 minute of that trailer they released.
Yeah, and
other than who's in it, I know nothing. But you know what? It looks interesting. It's a different flavor than what we've gotten before. Mm-hmm. I like the casting, and the Riddler's my favorite Batman villain, so I'm happy to have something that wipes away the memory of the Jim Carrey version. So bring it. I'll take Pattinson. Sight unseen.
Riddler's. I won't say anything because you haven't seen it.
Don't say anything.
Yeah, Riddler's. We'll see. It's I'm
assuming I'm not going to get the question mark leotard Riddler.
No, but it's a take. We'll see what they do with it. Yeah. I mean, there's potential. If I have a fear with this, it's we're back to the embarrassed by superhero movie, right? That is usually my fear when they're like, oh, we're going to be realistic. It's like, well, that just means you're not going to be the characters. You're not going to be the costumes. You're not going to be the capes. You're going to play it too real. And I think the Nolan movies thread that needle just perfectly.
Until the third one.
I mean, I still like the third one.
We don't need to get into this.
I mean,
I agree with you about threading that needle until that needle got away from the thread.
Whatever you say about the third one, I have some of my problems with it. Robin and Talia but Bane's pretty fucking dead on. I think that's as good of a Bane as you're going to get in a movie. I loved Bane, so
I have no problem with Bane.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So good. And if nothing else, we wouldn't have got the Harley Quinn show, so it was all worth it. Yeah, that's my only fear is that this is going to be like, well, we're going to be too serious, it would be too real. And look, give me a little cape and cowl. So, a couple of questions we'll burn through these quick before we get out of here. Alex says, "Can I have 90 minutes from the podcast on how Brian K. Vaughan's New York Comic Con panel is just going to be a troll job and Saga is never actually coming back? I need more pain in my life." There's going to be a New York Comic Con panel about the past, present, and future of Brian K. Vaughan's comic work.
Yep.
Well, should we tell him?
All eyes are on that for the Saga announcement.
Well,
even if it gets announced there, it's not coming out in 2021. So the bet's over.
The pool is still what's still standing.
Well, wait, is this New York Comic Con next year?
No,
it's this year.
Next weekend or 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's soon. Even if they announce it, it would not be out in 2021 because we already have the some November and tail end of December.
But to answer the question, no, you can't get 90 minutes out of it because I don't know how. Even we cannot blow enough hot air to fill 90 minutes on that.
Do you think he's just going to Game of Thrones it and
and die first?
And die first. No, I taking bets on that. I don't want to.
I feel like enough time has passed. If it's not out next year,
it's over.
It's done. Yeah, I think we're at the
so we're
the
saying,
breaking point.
We're saying Brian is being consistent in his endings. People are not necessarily the happiest with his endings.
You publish for 5 years. You take like 5 years off. You publish for 5 more years. I mean, that seems fine. Sure, I'll take that.
What are you talking about? Fiona's just drew all of it. It's all done. It just needs to be. It just needs to be. Right? It just needs to be written. She's like, just fill in the blank.
The troll job at that panel would be. He's got a box of the next issue for everyone who attends that panel, and it's a thing that exists. And it's
already.
Yeah, it's a variant. Yeah.
You might. And you never know, right? You never know.
For the rest of the world's going to get it in January.
It's possible.
I don't even know what's still breathing on our betting pool. Miracle Man's out. Saga's out. The Air Cut is out. Yeah, out is eliminated from the pool.
Yeah,
there was a fourth choice, and I can't remember what it was now.
I mean, Air Cut never happening. Miracle Man, I would not.
Buckingham's drawing it as we speak, Ryan.
Yeah. Okay.
I have that from a good source.
Yeah.
He's drawing it very, very meticulously.
Yeah, did I tell you I read that interview with him? Did I mention this on the show? Where he said he looked at the because they already printed or they have 2 already printed, just that weren't published.
Right.
But he doesn't like the art because it doesn't look like his art now. So he wanted to start by redrawing what already exists. I'm like, no, you MFer, you just go forward. There is no back. Forward.
All right, here's a great question. We're going to wrap up on this one. It's from Joe.
Well, at least that guy got 90 seconds plus.
Yeah.
I thought he said 90 minutes.
No, he said 90 minutes. He said 90 minutes.
90 seconds.
Yeah. It's a great question from Joe. Do any of us own any, he calls them forbidden comics? So that would be the three examples he used would be the Elseworld 80-page giant, which was pulped, if you remember. It was not released because of the Super Baby. Was that who drew that? Who wrote and drew that? Was the Super Baby comic? Was that shit?
That's DC. You should know this. Come on.
God, I gotta kill myself. Hold on, let me look this up. 80-page giant.
God, that's a horrible cover.
Super Baby.
No wonder it was pulped.
Yeah, is it Super Baby? Yeah. Oh, sure, of course. Kyle Baker. So this was going to be in the 99 2000. There was going to be an Elseworlds comic that was all Elseworld. There was all sorts of crazy what if stuff. So there was a very sort of Looney Tunes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit style Super Baby comic in which you had Clark Kent's babysitter had to put up with baby Clark Kent for a day, and they recalled it. It never actually got published. It got printed. I think copies came out. Maybe the UK got them. Like it came out somewhere, but specifically because this little kid is like eating electric wires and jumping onto the fan and gets into a microwave and turns it on, right? And they recalled it because they were like, "Oh, this is like too far," right? It's awesome.
I love Kyle Baker. I love Kyle Baker.
Yeah.
If anybody has never read his Plastic Man, is
so good.
Amazing.
There is copies of this book is out there.
Wikipedia said that about 2,000 copies got shipped to the UK.
What are the other forbidden ones?
So the other one is Air Pirates, which is the in the early 70s. It was the Disney parody comic that were they sued? I believe they were sued by Disney, right?
There was something. Wow.
It was published by Last Gasp in July 1971, and it was based on the Floyd Gottfredson's Mickey Mouse strip, and it was sex and violence and nudity.
The Air Pirates is like they were cartoonists. That's not the name of a super team.
No, right.
Air Pirates are the guys who made the comic.
Right, Air Pirates. Air Pirates Funnies was the name of the comic. They were adult parodies of Disney and other comic strip, Beetle Bailey, Crazy Cat, stuff like that. And Disney sued them. So I've never seen one of those in person.
No, me neither.
Now, Hansi is the other book, and I don't actually know what this is. Let me look this up real quick.
So is this just like specifically taboo comics? Or?
These are all ones that have been pulped or pulled. You know what? I'm sorry. I have seen this.
Is Hansi the Nazi girl?
Yep. This is the girl who loved the swastika. Yeah, that's right. I have seen this. So this is published by the Spire Christian comic. If you've ever seen these Spire comics, they did a bunch of these in the 70s. There were a bunch of Christian comics. What was this book
called again?
Hansi, I think is how it's spelled.
Hansi, Hansi, the girl who loved the swastika.
Yeah. She looks like the Swiss Miss Hot Chocolate Girl, if I remember right.
Yep, huge Nazi banner behind her. So a lot of these, it's all about her growing up in like the Nazi, like wanting to be a Nazi, but then gets out of it, goes through brainwashing, comes out the other side, joins a Christian ministry. Right? That's what all these comics were about. They're kind of like the Chick Tracts, like they're sort of similar idea. But I have seen this comic, but again, not in person, but I have I have seen this.
Well, this is a deep cut question. I love it.
Some of the other ones they've taught that are like recalled are like Action Comics number 869. It's the one where they're drinking the beer. John Kent and Clark.
That's the cover. Yeah. So they
the East Coast got some.
Yeah.
But the West Coast were pulled. Same with the All-Star Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder number 10.
Yep. It's funny. I mean, there've been various recall comics in the past, but yeah. I mean, I do not have these. I do not collect these. But I that Elseworld Giant, I'm actually not. It's not as high as I thought.
Buy one. There's it on air right now.
There's not a lot of cheap open copies right now, but there's some I've sold for a not crazy amount. Just raw copies have sold. Just some graded ones, but I have no interest in a graded one. Just people have like $500, but fuck that. No, but a couple have sold for about $100. That's actually not that crazy. Man, that's fun. So I've been organizing some my comics. I'm in Flash right now, and I went through and one of my Flash 80-page giant, like the 90s, like the more modern giants that they did. It's all fucked up, and I don't know what happened to it. So I got to replace that. So I was just looking at some of these today.
I've priced up a ton of the Wolverine 131s.
Yeah. With the
where Killer is spelled with the anti-Semitic slur.
Let's call it a bad autocorrect.
I wouldn't even call it an autocorrect.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell is going on there.
Second L and smashed it into the first L is what you could technically say, and they got rid of the R.
Though not forbidden comics in the way that this question was phrased, just to throw this in the mix so we don't totally whiff on these. I was sorting some comics in my garage today, and I found a box that I completely forgot from back in my day of working at a comic store, a box of Cherry Pop-Tart and Wally Wood's Gangbang.
Yeah.
All boxed up together.
We used to sell a bunch of Cherry Pop-Tart. That Neil Gaiman issue, we sold a lot of copies of back in the day. Very super random.
Yeah. Super random.
Yeah, Cherry Pop-Tarts, a pretty long running. I don't know when they made the last issue, but it's like a Archie adult parody. So
yeah, it's
very
porn Archie.
Yeah. Very what's the guy's name? What's the artist's name?
Oh,
Dan DiCarlo.
That's the Archie artist.
Yeah. Very similar.
Cherry Pop-Tart artist.
No. Similar, very similar style. Yeah.
Lawrence Wells Larry Wells is the
Yeah. All right. Those are some good questions. Thanks, everyone. Now you got me on the hook looking for this Elseworld's 80-page giant. I think I'm ready. I think it's time.
Congratulations to the questioner. You cost Ryan Higgins some money writing in that question.
Don't let everyone listen to this podcast, but give me a couple weeks to find a cheap copy, then you guys can go buy it. Like just stay off eBay.
No, you already gave the listeners their mission to find the Krypton Companion.
The Legion Companion. Yeah. We don't want that comic conspiracy bump here costing me to go bid against people on eBay for this book. So, thank you.
You just need to buy 3 copies, and then I'll buy one of them from you for $500, and that'll drive the price up of the other ones. Oh, did we forget to talk about that again? Because it came up again.
What?
The WADA people. I guess there was more like research done on the and all that.
Yeah. That's geek box talk.
It's bleeding into the comics, man. It's bleeding into the comics.
We talked about this last week. Yeah, Heritage is some eyes on Heritage. We'll see if anything comes of it. Thank you to our top tier backers at patreon.com/comic conspiracy. That's Joe Duff, Craig Anderson at clearpathcoaches.com, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast, and Talon Bray.
Can we just shout out quickly?
All very much. Yes, of course.
Craig Anderson's engagement.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. Congrats.
I feel like we should have Ryan. You should cut in the sound of a champagne cork popping right now.
There it is.
There's some high tech work.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Craig.
Yeah.
Congrats.
ComicSpiracyPodcast.com, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify is where you can find all our previous episodes. Head over to patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Again, if you want to kick us a couple bucks. If you go to comicsconspiracy.biz, you can find all our in-stock product over there. Make some purchases. That's always good. Brock's shipping regularly.
Oh, for fuck's sake, regularly. Jeez.
ConspiratorBrock.com.
It's okay. Marshall got a call on Friday from a customer that was like, ask a couple questions, then, oh yeah, I forgot to say, that pack job was amazing. It was so fantastic. Like, Marshall texted me afterwards. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's good.
That's how I roll.
Does a good job.
Way better than Amazon people.
Brock does a good job. ConspiratorBrock.com. It's Brock's pull list unboxing videos and pull list videos over there. You can watch his stuff. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast, Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. Listen to that. What are they, like every week now, I think. Kevin has a weekly interview series called Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com. You can check that out every week at fanbasepress.com. And Leanne, my wife, has some artwork over at leannehill.com and their Etsy store at etsy.com/shop/leannehillart. We are way too close to Halloween, but this is the time of year where suddenly she starts selling she always does, but an even more shitload of Haunted Mansion prints that are on there. If you're a Disney fan, she has a lot of Haunted Mansion fan art on there, and some really good recreations of the stretching portraits and other stuff in the Haunted Mansion. And she actually has some larger size prints that she's doing now too. So if you're a Haunted Mansion fan, go check that stuff out. If you were on Twitter, give us all a follow. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, that's me. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store, Kevin is that Kevin Sharp. The store is ComicsCon Store. And don't forget Geekbox. We've got an episode coming up this Monday. And Manga Machinations are good friends. Talk about manga and anime. That's all I've got. We should just end the podcast now. We're done. Goodbye, everyone.